Hi, it's Tracy from Two Rocks Tarot with this week's midweek angel message and a little bit of scrying. So as you can see, actually 2 cards come up today, and they were pyrite and hematite. And the first thing that struck me is when I look at these 2 cards is how they're both silver, they are silvery type of crystals. I mean, the hematite is black, but it has got a silver sheen over the top of it. And pyrite's messages is you have accomplished a solid base, a foundation to work upon. Now you can bring in new energies and to work on grids. Hematite's message is stay grounded and anchored through these times. Don't make any major moves yet, and hold tight and stabilize. So I just love these cards. They're beautiful, beautiful cards. So when you look at the pyrite, the first thing I'm sort of looking at is how it's very much, it's got the pyramids at in the background, and we all know that there was a big thing, I don't think it was in the 80s or something like that, where people used to sit under pyramids to invoke healing. They believed that they sort of tapped into the energies of the Egyptian pyramids. I've never tried that myself, but funny enough, I was only thinking about that about the other day. Perhaps this is a sign. And as you can see, it's got some planets. There's Saturn there as well, so that indicates that maybe some luck is coming our way. Pyrite itself, my particular piece, kind of looks like the moonscape that's in the background of this particular card. And with hematite, it almost looks like Merlin, but again, you'll see there's a Saturn in a different colour on the top left-hand corner, which is a turquoise colour. And he's got stars on his robes, and he's very firmly grounded with having the walking stick there as well. And the other angel up the top in pyrite seems to be holding something. It's like a blue type of glow. Actually, I don't think, here, I've got the cards right in front of me, haven't I? I just want to see up close. It's a little bit hard. I think that's meant to be a piece of pyrite. It's actually holding in his palms of his hands, but it actually looks kind of blue, kind of bluish grey in this particular one. So it's going to be a little bit too hard to scry with the hematite, because as you can see, my piece is very, very it's very, very smooth and very, very, very silvery. This particular piece of hematite that I've got, I've had it for years and years and years. But if you look at it close, and I'm not even going to try and show, there is some black showing through, some speckles kind of thing like that. So I think for the energies of what the angels are trying to say is looking beneath the surface at yourself or at another person. So perhaps you need to, I feel like there's like some type of barrier that has been put around a situation in your life or a particular person as well. And but things are starting to break through, and you're starting to see the bigger picture in this particular situation. So that's what I'm feeling with. And because it's so silvery, it just reminds me of the actual moon card itself. And we all know that the landscape of the moon looks different at night time. Everything, when you're walking in the moonlight, you're more aware of the shadows in your in the particular environment around you, and perhaps you might be doing some shadow work and you're more aware of the actual shadows that are around you. So that's what I'm getting out of that particular piece. And my pyrite is a very bumpy, I've had this for years and years and years. I can't even remember how I got these crystals. That's how long I've had them for. And what I've noticed in here, there's quite a big dip in mine, and there's a hole again, like a black hole in there as well, unless you turn it around in the light. So I feel like for some of you there is a hole, and as soon as I say that, there's a little love heart sitting up the top. And actually, if you kind of look at it like that, it kind of looks like a little love heart. It's a bit hard to see this particular piece. So I feel like for some of you there's a hole in the heart, either in the heart chakra or in love in your life. There's some type of hole that what I thought of straight away, because we all know Prince Philip died, and I've been constantly thinking of the Queen, and it did come out today in the news that she said she feels like there's a great big hole in her life. And I think this is what this is picking up, is how much of can you imagine being with someone for 73 years? I mean, she's known him since she was 13, and can you imagine how much of a hole in your life that would be to have someone who you've constantly depended on and has been there for you, and truly made her laugh too. Every time you used to see them, they looked so happy together, and lots of photos of him making her laugh. So I feel like that this is what this represents. Not only her loss, maybe some of you are experiencing a loss of some type in your life, and you feel like that this hole in your heart will never be filled. Or the other side, and because this is so bumpy, so bumpy, it does tell me that it's going to be a bumpy journey. Of course, it's going to be a bumpy journey for for Majesty as well. I can only just imagine what she's going through, and yeah, I just can't. I mean, my parents have been married nearly as long as they have too, so they're both 90 now, and it's a worry. It is a worry. So I feel like, and also with pyrite, it's because it says here they've accomplished a solid base. So if you're looking at I'm sorry to go on about the Queen, but if you're looking at their marriage, how solid it was such a solid base. Well, to me, because this is so bumpy, I'm getting the impression that what was a solid base in your life is now no longer. There's things that have come up that you weren't aware of, and it's leaving this hole in your life. I mean, some of you, some of you might be thinking of a change of a career, something that once filled you up with great joy no longer holds any appeal to you. But in these trying times, you're not too sure where to go. This does bring in new energies, and if you do some grid work, perhaps you can do a grid on what you're trying to attract into your life. And funny enough, this particular pyrite, because it is iron, and I feel like that some of you may be having some breathing difficulties. Now, when I was going through I had a really bad cold. When was it? I can't remember if it was last year now, but I had a really bad cold, and I actually put this actual pyrite right where my lungs are, and also a piece of amber as well, and I kid you not, that really helped me to breathe. So if you are in that much pain and literally struggling to breathe, grab a piece of pyrite and just hold on to it, and perhaps hold on to the hematite as well. Hematite is very healing, and it's supposed to be very good for pain relief, but I myself find that since I've been going through the breast cancer, that malachite is the biggest healer for me, and takes away the pain better than what the hematite did. So perhaps grab some malachite as well. Kind of matches what I'm wearing, doesn't it, today? So perhaps grab some malachite as well. I'm just trying to look at the cards to see if I can gather anything out. And because there's lots of stars in both of these cards, so it doesn't hurt to put out your wishes. Do you know what I mean? To ask the universe for what you want. Write it down. Repeat it back to yourself every single day. As soon as you get up in the morning, you can literally see after you've had your coffee or tea or whatever your poison is in the morning. Look in the mirror and repeat that mantra. And then you're putting out your wishes to the universe. And because there's so many stars here, this is what it's suggesting, to literally put your wishes out into the universe of what you want to manifest in your life. In the hematite card, it says to stay grounded and anchored through this time, and not to make any major moves. So really, hold tight and stabilize. So really, hold them both tightly, stabilize yourself, and until you feel that hole beginning to fill back up with something else. Now, of course, if you have suffered a loss like the Queen does, that hole is never going to be filled, no matter what, no matter how much. If you lose a loved one, that's always going to be there. The only thing I can tell you is, that as time goes on, the pain will ease, but it's always a space in your heart that can't be filled because that person or even animal is no longer there. I carry all my pets in my heart all the time, and I have to say I've been really lately missing Oscar and my cat Blackie, who I had her for 22 years. Really been missing them lately, and I know that my husband often says to me, would you like another cat or a dog? And I don't want to, because I don't want to go through that loss again. I couldn't handle it. So there's just nothing is going to replace them too for me in my heart, and of course others that I've loved and lost along the way, and it's, this goes for people as well. So it's just something that you have to deal with. But the most important thing is to try and stay grounded and not let your feelings get swept away up in the emotion. And grounding as well, just to give you some other crystals are good for grounding, is like red jasper. Jasper is good. Mookaite is good for grounding. Tourmaline as well gets sort of rid of the negativity, as does some smoky quartz, clear quartz. just Google grounding stones, because when you look up the meaning of crystals, you're going to find the same. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen malachite as taking away pain. It gets rid of toxicity in your body, yeah, but the pain situation, I never, because that's sitting sort of right in the middle of right on top of my scar, actually, which is slowly going down. And that, before I got my breast removed, I was having quite a bit of pain around the nipple area, because my tumour was what they call it the 4 o'clock position, 2 centimetres away out from my nipple, and that's where I used to place, put the crystal on it. Instantly, it would just help with the pain. And then it would start to ache again, and then I would take it off because I knew it had enough. So, that's not something that I've ever read about malachite. And so when you do look up meanings of crystals and you're looking at all the healing properties of it and you're getting a little bit overwhelmed, honestly, just choose what appeals to you. If you feel like that a piece of smoky quartz is going to be the best thing to heal your heart, go for it. Everyone's going to say rose quartz, aren't they? Most people associate rose quartz for heart issues. I myself, because I got a lot of heart palpitations and hot flushes. Now, sodalite was recommended for hot flushes, but for me it was green aventurine. As soon as I put that piece of green aventurine smack in the middle of my chest, a couple of minutes later the hot flush would go, and always got rid of my heart palpitations. So I actually, when I used to have the nurse coming every week to flush my PICC line out and everything like that, because I'm a bit of the white coat person, if I get my blood pressure, woof, it goes up in my pulse, I would hold a piece of that so that she could get a proper reading of my blood pressure. So, really, I suppose my best advice when it comes to choosing crystals to help you alleviate whatever pain or whatever emotions that you're going through is to choose what appeals to you. Okay, if you pick up a crystal and you think, God, that feels so good, and you can't put it down, well, that's your crystal, even though it might say it's not good for that, because everybody's all the meanings that you see associated to crystals are of what it means personally to that particular person. Okay, so whoever wrote the book or wrote that article, that's what that crystal did for them, but it might not do it for you. So find out what appeals to you. Until next time, this is Tracy.